When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden light. It's a good time for a great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac Tonight. Come on, make it Mac Tonight.
Ah, Five Nights with Mac Tonight, a personal classic for me. It's a small series based on a classic McDonald's mascot from the 90s that accumulated so much controversy it cannot be legally used again, but Donald still has the copyright to it. But more important for us is that there were animatronics made of this guy and displayed in McDonald's to play some songs on the piano. So, if we are to make a McDonald's based fun game, I say this is the best excuse we have to make one. It was made by Photonegative Mickey, going by Moldrat nowadays, and this is how I will be referring to him throughout this video. And if you are in fnaf fandom, I think you know him, but I think just from the name alone you can guess what fun games he was most well known for. Mac Tonight apparently started as a joke series for Moldrat, but quickly became a side series and a way to rest from Five Nights at Treasure Island fan games. It consists of a trilogy, 2 remasters and 2 side games, which I say is quite a bundle if you ask me. The series has been long left to rot after the last game in 2019, and I barely see anyone mention it when it was one of my personal favorites when I was like 13, I guess. Now I may have liked it, but I never actually played them. Okay, I played the first game, only the first game, and I watched the rest of the series played by the Game Salmon if I remember right, so I don't think it really counts. So let's not waste time and start from the very beginning. Five Nights with Mac Tonight released on July 9th, 2017. As a lead up to the release, a teaser game was released, and it's nothing special. Just freeze-frame the code list that appears sometimes to get some images and a Night One phone call. Okay, so starting the real game menu is simple, but it has its style. I'm pretty sure this VHS effect is a generic click-team one, but man does it add the character to the menu. We also have a tutorial on how to use Window, which I will mention in a minute, and starting the new game we are shown newspaper advertising night shift at local McDonald's. Nothing special here. So we appear in our office that is simple. Why, but it looks a bit odd to me. Like, all geometry and colors look good enough, lighting as well, but the TV is still at slightly wrong angle, and this plug bugs me for some reason. And it's pretty small, but I don't think McDonald's would just make a security office for their staff and most likely put us in some kind of supply closet, so I think that tracks. We got a call from Chris, our manager and phone guy.
I'm your manager, Chris, and it's my job to guide you through what you have to do here for your night shift duties.
We are given cameras, which instead of having boxes for cameras have these colored sections, which is a nice change, not gonna lie. And we are also told about the brand new Mac Tonight animatronics on the second floor after the last one broke down with his head on our desk for some reason. I'm too European, so I never saw a 2-floor McDonald's in my life, but according to the internet, they exist. We are also told he's apparently acting up, walking around the location and acting strange, but thankfully we have 2 hallways to deal with him. If he gets to the door on our right, we need to switch to kitchen camera and generate noise to distract him. But if he comes through the window on our left, we need to close it with a shift key and mouse over it, and wait for him to leave. You may ask why we can't just keep the window closed the whole night. Apparently a broken spring is the reason, and somehow Donald can't pay for it.
There's a problem with the window. It has this, broken spring, which keeps it open when you close it. So, we don't really have the budget to replace it yet, so it all went into the new animatronic.
I really don't think it costs too much to replace a spring, but whatever, we need mechanics. Also, how does he fit through the window? That head looks big. And yeah, that's all that happens on night 1. Mac walks around, attacks us from the window or door, and speaking about the location, for a recreation of McDonald's, I dare say it looks fairly believable for a 2-floor McDonald's. Don't think there's a big requirement for that, but I say it counts. Night 2 adds Hamburglar, who, according to McDonald's lore, yes, there is something like McDonald's lore, is a nemesis to Ronald McDonald, stealing burgers. However, the only thing he wants to steal is our skin, according to his voice line.
Use your body as my meat.
Alright, every single character in this game has a voice line. I don't think they say it every time they move, but they do it from time to time, and yes, it gets repetitive. But Hamburger's goal isn't our office, it's the vent above us. He starts in the dining room and goes upstairs to a room with a vent and grimace and tries to climb into it. If you hear a bang, you need to overheat the vent to deter him. He's very easy to deal with, basically alerting you to when he's about to kill you. Didn't stop him from killing me a few times on later nights, but compared to the others, he is not that big of an issue. Nothing more to add, so let's move to night 3. On night 3, Chris tells us that customers had been complaining about a room on the second floor near the vent camera, saying that it stinks there and they heard disturbing sounds and the robots are getting more aggressive. But going back to the door, Ronald McDonald himself came to visit. Oh Jesus! Yeah, this may have once been Ronald Walker, but now he is a decaying walking corpse. I really want to know how no one found out about this. Pretty creepy design combining corpses and clowns into one. He only attacks through the door, so whenever he opens the door, go to the kitchen camera and press the unless Grimace is there. Yeah, Grimace is active as well, and he is annoying. From time to time, he will enter the kitchen and disable the sound button for a bit. During my night 3 attempt, he wasn't an issue, but on later nights, you will see. Also, there's apparently one more animatronic that gets added tonight, but she didn't attack me until night 5, so I'm going to mention her later on. Speaking of later night 4. Tonight, Chris calls us and asks us if we are okay, because yesterday when he saw us leaving from the shift, we didn't respond to him apparently.
Hey, has everything been alright lately? Because this morning after you finished your shift, you looked restless. You didn't even respond to my question. You just left the building quickly, in a hurry. I don't know if it was something that was happening, or it was something to do with what happened overnight.
Fair enough, we did see a walking corpse. I would be speechless and want to reconsider my decision of working at this McDonald's as well. He hopes we are okay and also says that the restaurant was closed today because robots were acting out even more than usual due to vandals apparently. And the last robot is introduced, Mayor McCheese, a walking burger. He can use the window to enter the office, which, okay, with Mac Tonight I guess I can see him fitting through the window, but how does Mayor McCheese fit through it? His head is wider than the window. But it wasn't he who was the problem, but Grimace. For some reason I died quite a lot during night 4 because of Grimace, and it was because of him blocking the sound button at the most inconvenient of times. Yeah, this is a point where the game becomes rolling the dice and hoping you don't land on one or a wombo combo, and a lot of early fun games were energy reliant, but man, it still stinks when it happens. So on night 5, Chris calls us again and says that he's happy that we are reaching the end of the week and that animatronics are still broken before...
Hey, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be on your stage. Hey, wait, no, get out of here, what are you doing?
Wow, that was the flattest Fungi Dev delivery I have ever heard, and it did not convey the emotion Fungi should feel when dying. Oh, also, nobody gets added tonight, but I do have to mention the second mascot that was apparently added on night 3, Birdie. She's Grimace the sequel, this time going for the vent camera and disabling overheating. So yeah, just like Grimace, she is an artificial difficulty since you have no ways of slowing her down, so you just hope she won't appear. But surviving long enough to 5 AM, we get another phone call.
Use your body as my meat.
And it's just garbled noise. And okay, I'll be real for a second, I cannot overstate how dumb I felt on night 5. I would constantly die to Grimace or Birdie disabling my defenses just when either someone is at the door or when the vent bangs. I despise this kind of difficulty, that is entirely based on RNG, and this night took 2 hours for me to beat and was the opposite of enjoyable experience I had in previous nights. I will say that night 5 is supposed to be hard, yes, but when Grimace just keeps on blocking the sound button, it just becomes unfair. I was so mad I literally started playing the sequel to Distress. What did I think about it? You will see soon. Finishing night 5, we don't even get a paycheck going straight to the menu like every other night, but we get a moon as a star replacement and can play night 6. Also, am I the only one who now realized the old Mac's head was gone from our office tonight? Just wondering if it has some lore implications. Night 6 starts eerily quiet before... Yep, this is Chris's mutilated body with Mac's head. Pretty good design, especially that single eye staring at us. He's essentially every robot, except Birdie and Grimace thank God, we have faced so far. If he's at the window, close it. At the door, deter him. And he also doesn't make the creaking sound, so you need to watch the door closer, and for vent, hit him up. No one else is active tonight, but he's pretty damn fast for a corpse, and I don't think it's a cakewalk. I'm just thankful Grimace and Birdie were inactive, although I think keeping other animatronics active would make this a bit better, but hey, it's still a boss fight that is decent for 2017. Ending the shift, we still don't get paid, but get transported into a semi-free roam section. You can walk around the location, see the reflection of yourself wearing a Ronald suit, go upstairs to meet Grimace and Mac Tonight, before getting up close to him and doing something to him before credits roll. We unlock extras that are presented in this very fun screen, with small lore tidbits about each animatronic. Also, the extras menu plays a different Mac Tonight commercial, and it is nice break to finally not hear the same "When the clock strikes 8." Yeah, that one. And of course, there's custom night. And there are different challenges that you can play to get different rewards, but of course, I jumped straight into max mode, and yeah, it was a bit challenging and nerve-wracking, but more so because I hoped the Grimace won't block the sound button. For a winning 620, we get this cutscene.
Ever since I found out Chris damaged the animatronics back at the warehouse, I recently got a call a few nights later after the shipment of the fixed animatronics to the restaurant that their behavior was uncontrollable. Even the engineers couldn't fix them up. Chris, however, went missing a few nights after he began his new job at the McDonald's. Doesn't matter though, I went and collected the animatronics from the restaurant. Don't worry though, they're in a better place now.
So I guess animatronics got taken to the factory and disassembled? I guess that's good. And this was Five Nights with Mac Tonight 1. Game is definitely showing its age, graphics are fine, mechanics are simple but still relatively engaging, and existence of animatronics ruin your attempts with RNG are really annoying. The story at this point is not really developed, and I will be honest, future games don't really develop it too, but it's still a bit more interesting than other fun games. But we didn't even get paid for our work, but that's what sequels are for, right? Right? Okay, before we move to the sequel, however, I'm gonna quickly mention the Halloween version of Mac 1 that was released on Halloween 2017. The update is mainly focused on making everything Halloween themed, but it does have few changes, especially to enemies. Mac now looks like a jack-o'-lantern, Hamburglar became Kruger, Ronald Pennywise, Grimace is Grimace in a white sheet, Mayor looks like Myers, we have newcomer Terror Mac, oh, and Birdie is there too. Doors are always open, so you don't get the sound cue for opening them, meaning you can sit whole time on cameras. Not like that was a strategy, but okay. And in Custom Night, Terror Mac joins the fray, making it 720 with brand new TV mechanic. If you stare at him for too long, you die, and to get rid of him, you click on TV to turn it off. And that will be all. A higher effort update than most I saw back in the day. Alright, now we can really move to the sequel. Five Nights with Mac Tonight 2 released on July 2017, with a demo releasing a month earlier. As you can tell, the game released pretty quickly, a whole 2 months of development since the last one, and was most likely worked alongside another fun game, The Lost Ones 2, that Malrat released the same month. And it shows. So we don't get an intro like we did previously with Mac Tonight's song, instead we get this pretty plain menu with a generic ambience. I mean, I know the last game's VHS effect was most likely something free, but man did it add character to the menu. Whatever, outside of the options to change perspective, we have nothing better to do than start the new game. We get a newspaper, which I will swear is the same one as the last game's newspaper, with text change, and instead of fries we have walkie-talkie. Newspaper says that after a recent sales rise in one of local McDonald's, they plan on buying animatronics for their locations, setting this game as a prequel to the first game. And of course they're looking for night guard position to watch them over to make sure vandals don't damage them. My question is why not move them to a safer warehouse, but sure. So we appear in our office, that is a definitive improvement over the last one. It maybe looks a bit generic and the constant light flickering is a bit of a strain for the eyes, but other than that, yeah, it is an improvement. We got a call from, oh wait, isn't that the same mute button as in the first game? Never mind. Okay, we get a call from our boss and he explains the basics of our work. Building runs on a generator, aka music box, in a trench coat that we need to charge on our cameras or we run out of power and get killed by Mac Tonight. We also have this alarm button that is supposed to be used on vandals, but in reality it's just a deterrent. What I find annoying on cameras is that none of them are marked in some sort of way. All of them are just cameras with no name or number, which is a weird thing to be missing. So I will be just using this arrow to point out which camera I'm talking about. Tonight's enemy is once again Mac Tonight. He starts in the top right corner camera before walking all around the place. From what I played, Mac Tonight and other enemies don't seem to have a predefined path to you, simply walking around until they stand at our doorway. If you see him there, you need to use the alarm to deter him. Doesn't matter where you use it, it will always work, which is a bit of a weird design decision. On night 2, the phone guy says that animatronics were found in weird positions last night and suspects we have been slacking at our job or we are the ones who moved them. And one of those animatronics was Hamburglar. He's damaged for some reason, but still has love for the vents. And also voice acting, as he and Mac are the only characters in this game that say anything. And yes, it is also repetitive as all hell. So Hamburglar slowly makes his way to the bottom left camera, this one. He will then climb the ladder to the upper level of the warehouse where vents are located. If he is there, you need to switch to the upper floor camera, which I swear to god is the same button as in the last game. Again. And from there, he will enter one of 4 vents with the same banging sound as the last game if I'm not wrong. And you need to seal the vent to prevent him from killing you. If you keep the vent shut for too long, it will overheat, but I never found it to be an issue. It just makes this sound. And then goes back to normal. Not sure if it's scarred mechanic or something. What is an issue is that he moves even slower than in the last game. At least in Mac Tonight he was somewhat of a threat with everyone else, but here he moves at snail's pace. For nights 2 and 5 he attacked me only once per night. Night 3's phone call is pretty short, just our boss complaining that animatronics are moving and that the new has arrived, Birdie the Bird. She is kind of like Mac Tonight, but not really. She starts in the bottom right camera in the box and makes her way to the office. When in the office she doesn't kill you, but causes a rapid drain in power and stops the generator from being charged. To get rid of her, you use the alarm to send her away. She also just stands in your office, not even behind the window, she's just here. She's not a big issue, just remember to check on generator after you scare her away. Another enemy that was not mentioned is Grimace. Yeah, this guy is back. He works like a phantom balloon boy, staring at you on cameras, and if you look at him for too long, he disables them, leaving you to die. To get rid of him, pull the camera down. A little on the mech side, but not as annoying as he was in the last game. After finishing the night, instead of immediately being sent to the main menu, we have a cutscene FNAF 2 Dream style. We see from Mac Tonight's perspective with an arrow in the corner and not able to even move. You sit in silence until you hear someone talking, although I cannot hear them for the life of. Seriously, I have no clue what they are talking about.
Well, there it is. The Mac animatronic. God, I saw what he did to this thing. Can't let him get away with it. I need to put things how it should be. This means I need to rewire Mac. If he gets away with this, then this thing will be a threat to people.
And then cutscene ends. On night 4, Fungi calls us saying that engineers meant to come and fix animatronics are still not here, and that Mayor McCheese has been damaged by vandals as well at the drop-off. No one is still suspected of doing this, but what we are told about is that the window to our right above the metal cabinet, which is supposed to tie in with Mayor McCheese. He starts in the second bottom left camera and makes his way to the office through the aforementioned window. If you see him in the window, you need to close the Nah, joking, use the alarm. Okay, it's not that I hate the alarm, but the fact that 3 out of 5 enemies are deterred by it makes gameplay very, very boring. You don't need to consider anything really, just fire that alarm whenever you see someone and deal with Grimace and Hamburglar when you see or hear them. This gameplay loop is somehow worse than the first game and it doesn't have annoying enemies that it had, because they got replaced by boredom, which is arguably worse. Yeah, I know I complained about Birdie and Grimace, but I prefer to have them over boredom. At least I will remember their bullshit. I will forget about this game in a week because it's just waiting for someone to appear and pressing the alarm button the whole night. Oh, and also the mirror was the last enemy to be added, so we only have the story to cover. Finishing night 4, we get another cutscene from Mac's perspective again. We see to be at McDonald's and there is a dead Ronald on the floor. He speaks again, but once again I can barely hear him.
Is that my body on the floor? Wait, if that's my body, what am I in? No, I'm in the Mac animatronic. I got control of it. I need to hide my body. I swear I will find him. Wait, I hear him in the office, recording a message for the new worker. I'll show him.
So on night 5, the fungi calls us and reveals a pretty big revelation. There were no vandals that damaged animatronics, it was just us.
Well, we may have just found out who caused the damage to the animatronics. It wasn't the vandals. It was you, Chris. How could you? We trusted you to maintain the safety for the animatronics, but you just took the job to get closer to them. One of the workers from the McDonald's who needs the animatronics saw what you did as well when he came to see what the holdup was to the animatronics. Now we know. You damaged them, Chris. After this night, I want you out, and I don't know what you did to the animatronics, but they're acting really weird lately. Get out. Good riddance.
And we are Chris as well? The plot thickens if this literally wasn't the last piece of lore we get in this game. That I forgot to mention each night is 9 minutes long and really makes the game drag. For reference, Mac Tonight 1 in the last 7. So not only do I have nothing to do, I am also stuck here for prolonged periods of time. For finishing night 5 we get the last cutscene, where Chris, already with Mac's head, looks at us lying on the floor with animatronic heads in the background. Ooh, I have no clue what this means. I have no clue what the hell it represents. For that we get the first moon and night 6 unlocked, and no, we don't have a boss fight, it's just another night with everyone active. Finishing night 6 we get another moon and extras unlocked, which are very blunt compared to Mac Tonight 1. We have characters, jumpscares, cheats that are useless because this game is already piece easy, and custom night. I went to 520 and won by staying on cameras the whole night. No, I'm not joking, I bet the hardest challenge in this game by staying on cameras and spamming the alarm button, and going to vents when I hear humble glare. This game has some real Candy Stew energy in it, by which I mean you don't need to lower your cameras down after picking them up, and being so easy a 5-year-old FNAF fan could beat it. So beating that we get credits. That's all. And this was Mac Tonight 2. This was an experience. Compared to the last game, this was a snooze fest and a considerable downgrade. To be fair, I didn't like the original that much either, but at least I could recommend it to you, but this one, I have genuine trouble doing that. Outside of the story that sets up Chris as some overarching villain, everything else is pretty disposable. Graphics are alright but bland, gameplay is boring and poses no challenge, and we still don't get our pay. I'm gonna be sorry if I don't get cash soon, so let's move to the next game in the series. Also, there were no Halloween updates for this one, so we know which game is superior. 5 Nights with Mac Tonight 1 Remastered, released on 10th of March 2018. As you can tell, this game actually spent some time in the oven. The game opens to this pretty nice main menu, not gonna lie, this is great. Now instead of Black Void we have a backdrop reminiscent of Mac Tonight commercials, logo, and the moving buttons with these nice yellow neon signs. Mac himself looks way better than before, and there's a disco button that has a dead link. Neat. Also, I'm not sure or is the music slightly lower compared to the original. And I'm gonna mention this now because this game seems to always run in Windows mode. None of the buttons on the keyboard I pressed changed it to full screen, which does suck a bit because now the game is cut on top and bottom of the screen, but it didn't impact gameplay very much, thankfully. So you start the game with a remastered version of the newspaper from the first game, nothing else really changed. Night loading also has some neon tips, and we only have one tip in this game. No, there are no other tips. This is the only good tip you get for the whole game. So we appear in our office? Yeah, I guess because of budget cuts we don't get a separate room for our office, we are just relegated to the kitchen. Oh well, at least it seems more realistic. So instead of getting phone calls, we get voicemails. And to listen to them we need to use the power of the keyboard by pressing 1. This is the only keyboard interaction in this whole game, by the way. Chris calls us again, talking about location, and I swear to god it's 39 games from my last video.
G'day, this is Chris here. You may remember me. I'm the manager here at this Macca's. Again, I'd just like to thank you for taking the night shift job, seeing as how no one else would.
Give me a sec, let me check credit. Yep, it's 39 voicing Chris. Now that's a coincidence considering my last video was about 39 fun games. Going back on what is going on... not much. Chris welcomes us and tells us how to defend ourselves. So let me talk about cameras because they look beautiful. Every single camera looks like it could be a real McDonald's location. Though instead of those zones we had in the first game, we have camera boxes which are on a little bit of a small side, but it isn't too bad, it only cost me 1 death. So Mac Tonight works pretty much the same as last time we met him. If he goes to the doorway, we switch cameras to the show stage where you can play a soundbite from his ad. And make him go away. Now the window has been simplified. When Mac appears in the drive-thru window, you need to use this new reboot panel to drive away Mac and make him go away. This is a bit of a downgrade compared to original because it means that there are no more cool combos, but with how much faster this game is, mechanics like holding a window wouldn't work here well. Oh, and then on the same panel you can reboot both speakers and the vent heater. And that's all for night 1. I've noticed when I got the idea to use nuances in this game, but it was the best idea I've had. After every night we also get to hear a cutscene related to Chris's personal life. Tonight Chris comes to his manager asking for some money because his daughter fell ill to some disease. Manager, however, doesn't want to give him money because of recent renovations at McDonald's related to Mac Tonight, taking all the cash and time. And because the place is closed during renovations, there is no money flow, so no money for Chris. Night 2 once again introduces Hamburglar, all new and shiny and without this weird neck. Seriously, why was it acceptable? He works exactly the same way, he goes to the vent on the second floor and you use the overheat to deter him. Night 2's after night cutscene shows us Chris talking to himself about daughter's disease getting worse, saying that it got so bad it can't be stopped, and in his newfound anger he decides to make his manager pay the price. Night 3 adds Ronald and Grimace. Ronald works a bit like Mac, but not really. Instead of using door like Mac Tonight does, he comes from the dining area and in complete silence at that. He's supposed to have a shorter kill cooldown than Mac, but I never die to him. But hey, you actually kind of need to pay attention to your surroundings. And then there's Grimace. I actually like what they did with him here. Grimace now resides on the first floor in his corner. If he moves on the camera, you can deactivate him to make him go back to the corner. But if you don't pay enough attention, he will leave the corner and you won't be able to make him go back. After a while, he will enter the kitchen and stand there menacingly, breaking all the systems, leaving you to die. Thank God this got changed because I think I would explode if this was RNG Balloon Boy again. Also, designs for both of them did change quite a bit, Grimace especially, but Ronald doesn't look half that bad as well. In tonight's cutscene, Chris comes to the manager, with the manager only adding salt to his injuries with his talk.
Look, if you're still holding a grudge over the McDonald's being shut down, just get over it already. I've told you before I can't raise your pay. Now will you leave? I'm trying to get planning done here.
Chris responds by talking about how greed is corrupting, evil and similar things.
What is there I could have done?
Your greed. It's your greed that helped cause this. If you didn't spend all that money towards improvements, you could have helped me out. But you didn't. No one did!
Look, I was hoping it would have been the best for all of us. This could have gotten us a chance to make more—
I don't want to hear that crap!
Before killing the manager. So we move to night 4 that I almost forgot about, if not for the fact that I died twice. Mirror McCheese is added and he also comes through the window, but he's non-issue because of new drive away system, and yeah, he looks way better than in original, and I still question how he fits through the window, but he's a non-issue. And we also get the final member of the original cast, Birdie. She starts in the closet near your office and makes her way to the vent heater, but instead of waiting a random amount of time to leave, you need to reboot the heating system in the panel. I never had issue with her on main nights. Also, she looks pretty in her outfit. But, to be honest, I keep forgetting these two exist, especially the mayor. He just appears in the window and I press the button and he's gone. Yeah, maybe simplifying the window does detract from gameplay a bit, but the gameplay loop is overall improved from the original, so I really have no way to describe it other than it's better, but those who like the window mechanic will suffer. So after the night 4, Chris is driving somewhere. He talks about taking a job at the warehouse where animatronics are stored.
I'll make him turn in his grave by messing with these very expensive and fragile robots.
Wait a minute, that's a plotline of Mac Tonight 2. So I guess this solidifies Mac Tonight 2 as a prequel to Mac Tonight 1. These cutscenes precede the events of this game as well. Night 5 adds no one, but was pretty hard all things considered. May as well mention voice lines which are better in some cases. Hamburglar Grimace Mayor got better voice lines.
I'm gonna steal more than just hamburgers.
Where are you?
Hello there.
But Ronald for some reason got a voice added that doesn't quite fit in my opinion. And Mac became so robotic he lost all his series from the first two games.
It's Mac Tonight.
And Birdie apparently was supposed to have a voice as well, but her VA didn't respond to calls for lines after the game was internally finished. I will call it a side grade for Mac and Ronald. Rest got a proper upgrade. Expect Birdie. Oh, and Chris of course got an upgrade as well. Instead of Chris talking after night is over, we heard the manager of the warehouse talk about damaged animatronics and wondering who could have done this damage and why Chris hasn't said anything about it. So we get our first moon and night 6 unlocked. Instead of sitting in silence, we actually get a voicemail from Chris already in Mac's head, and that is just the right amount of unhinged.
First, new message.
Here it is, your final night. I bet you've been expecting to get out of here all safe and sound after this night. Didn't tell almost anyone about what you're going to see tonight, and how you're going to see how much of a state I'm in. Well, mate, I'm going to be making sure that you don't make it out of this one. There can be no witnesses. Let me find out what really happened. Ready or not, here I come.
Chris once again is everyone except Grimace and Birdie. At the window, drive him away. At the door or in diner, use a speaker. At the vent, hit him up yada yada yada. And still no one else was active despite Chris's speed, but he's pretty easy to deal with. After the night is over, you get to experience once more the joy of walking around the restaurant. So you will fumble around trying to find the stairs to the Mac's room, see this board that has YouTubers on it. You get upstairs, you see Mac Tonight, you get close to him, but this time he has red eye. Ooh, spooky. And then, after touching him, you transition to hear manager talk to Chris about his new job as a security guard at the warehouse. Last night's cutscene talks about damage done to animatronics, but only now do we hear him start the shift? I feel like these two should swap places. But after Chris ominously says,
And I'm sure you'll get the job done, no problem.
I'll get it done. No problem at all.
credits roll. We get second moon and extras unlocked, and we are back to cool menus. We also have a tab where we can check differences between original and remaster, and yeah, remaster definitely looks a lot better than the original ever did. Going to custom night quiz is an option that actually made the whole mode harder, and I didn't even get any teasers for completing it, only this Crimson Moon. And that was Mac Tonight Remastered. Maybe I didn't really sound all that enthusiastic about it, but compared to original, this game knocks it out of the park. Sure, the window was downgraded and voice lines don't hit as well as before, but everything else is just better. Graphics, gameplay loop, lack of RNG, it's all pure skill that I love in these fun games. If you plan to play original after this video, consider turning back and playing this version instead, because it's just way better than original. Or maybe play the original to get a better appreciation for this remaster. So after the tease from last 3 cutscenes, you would expect the next game to be the second game's remaster. Well, that's not exactly what happened. Your eyes don't deceive you, this is Five Nights with Mac Tonight 3. A non-canon continuation of the original story, not connected with the remasters, released on 15th of June 2018, 2 months since the last game. Now, before I begin talking about the game itself, I need to talk about development a bit, because it was not quite a straight line. Originally, this game was announced back in July 2017, shortly after the release of second game. Trailer, now deleted but thankfully re-uploaded, showed that the game would go for a FNAF 4 style fun game, with the trailer being pretty much one-to-one with a FNAF 4 trailer, with a Nightmare Mac Tonight showcased as the main enemy. His name is Terror Mac, by the way. However, a few hours after the trailer, allegedly, Mallrat stated that that version is officially canned and the trailer got deleted. Not even a month later, in August, he announced the work on the third game again, this time with a new setting meant to follow events of the first game. The story was supposed to continue after Night 6 from original Mac Tonight, where, after calling the police to the restaurant, all animatronics got recalled to the factory they came from, with Chris coming as well. For some reason. Not much is known about it, other than it was going to take place in a factory, with Chris cosplaying as Springtrap, and the rest of the cast being prototype versions. We also have an image of the menu and the office, but other than that, we have no clues what the game was going to be like because of children. In Malrat's comments, people apparently spammed for Malrat to hurry up and make Mac 4, which caused him to cancel the third game, and no amount of memes brought it back. In March 2018, the game page went back online with few changes, however, right before the end of the month, it was stated that the game was supposed to be April Fool's, but for whatever reason, Malrat rejected that idea, and nothing more came from it. But, as it turns out, the third game's third version was being worked on in secret from everyone, and on May 11th, 2018, a new page was released with a one-night demo. Game at this point was stated to be separate from the original storyline, and the full version was released in June. So we had McDonald's, we had warehouses, where we will work now, boat. Can I be honest, what the hell is Fungame's obsession with boats? Yeah, okay, so apparently there was a boat called Friendship 500 that was transformed into a McDonald's restaurant called McBarge. Nowadays it's apparently sunken in Canada, but it used to be operational, and that's where the third game is set at. Menu has this vibe of isolation. The song use and images are the exact opposite of energy original games give, which I guess is fitting considering we won't exactly be able to get to the land here while we are working. We don't get any newspapers after we begin the game, going straight to the night number that really gives the water and isolation vibe what this game is going for. So we appear in our pretty derelict office. Everything here is dark, broken, and definitely in need of some repair. Outside of our desk and lamp, hey, +5 for atmosphere. We get call from our boss and are welcomed to McBarge. We are here to watch the place over as the renovations to reopen the boat as a museum progress over the course of the week to make sure no one vandalizes the boat further. We are also told that they managed to get the cameras and plumbing system working and are for us to use, but are warned not to run the water over electronics. They also found a Mac Tonight animatronics and are keeping him on the boat since he is still functional. So let's go back a bit to those cameras and plumbing system, shall we? So I will be honest, I have no clue where I am in relation to these cameras. Genuinely. Throughout this whole game, this layout is seemingly made to be as confusing as physically to the players. Top floor has 4 cameras and all of them don't seem to be close to the office that is tucked away here in this small maze of rooms. And then we have the second floor, which doesn't even show where you are on it, and Mac Tonight comes from there, so... what? I will say that you only need 3 cameras in the whole game, so don't bother searching for anyone because you won't find them. So under the floor swap button we have the plumbing system. Very eye-piercing compared to cameras, not gonna lie. From here you can activate the pipes around your office and make the water flow through them. However, because pipes have holes in them, the water will leak, which is our main defense against animatronics. So Mac Tonight also fits the derelict vibe of the game, looking all old and left to rot. So he starts in Cam 7 on the second floor, and from there... You know what, I'm not even going to pretend I know his path to the office. But eventually he will appear in one of 3 locations in our office. The doorway to our left, the door in front of us, and the corner to our right. You will hear when someone appears on the right or in the middle when you hear creaking sound, and this quick step when someone is on the left. When they are standing there, you have a bit of time to go into cameras and activate the corresponding pipe to create a wall of water that makes animatronics wander away. You do have a limited water supply, but you can refill the tank with maintenance panel in our office. And that's all for night 1. Man, even the 6 AM screen is pretty. On night 2, the boss asks us if we moved the Mac since he wasn't in his original position, and that alongside him we found Hamburglar was also found out of position on one of the ladders. Again, he looks very good, but explanation of his mechanics is not. The hint we are given is that our office has holes in the ceiling, and as such something or someone could go through them, like Hamburglar. So Hamburglar starts on balcony on Cam 5, and when he leaves with a sound that is like scratching, he moves to the other floor and you can find him on first 3 cameras. Depending on where he is, you need to go to the plumbing screen and switch floors to activate pipes above you, deterring him. Sounds simple, right? Well, when I explained it to you like that, it is. However, it took me a good while to figure out how this works because of the stupid explanation on the phone call. Once again, the boss says that he was found on a ladder.
Well, one of those characters is the Hamburglar, considering that he was kind of in the way of our work since he was just sitting in one of the ladders.
The problem is that there are ladders on every single camera. Hell, our office has a ladder. So for the first few tries I knew that he moved because of sound cue, but not where, because saying that he was on a ladder says that he can be on any camera, when in reality it's just these three. Maybe I could have figured it out earlier with the plumbing layout, but I don't think it is an excuse for bad explanation for game mechanic. Other than that, he's a good challenge later on, not as brain-dead as in the original game. Closer to his mechanic in the sequel, forcing some dual tasking when someone comes to the office. Night 3, the boss is suspicious of workers moving around the animatronics and is getting annoyed having to move them back to their place. And they also found a new one who is... Grimace's uncle. So this game's name is Uncle O'Grimacy, and he's a Green Grimace relative with gloves for some reason. Does this imply Grimace is a nudist? I'm not going to dwell on the family tree of the Grimace, but I can say that once again, he's the annoying guy. He starts on Camp 4 and makes his way to our office where he will just stand menacingly once more and somehow drain the water. Boss told us that there are floodlights under the floor, but not how to activate them, and when he appeared... What is with this game and blinding me? Okay, so you press the F key to activate the floodlights and flashbanging yourself. Literally. But at least it makes him go away, so that's what matters. I'm pretty sure there should be a tip that tells you what button to press at the start of the ship. Hey, so reviewing this footage, there is actually a tip for pressing F to trigger the lights. But it's in a font that blends pretty well with the colors of the office and stays on screen for a collective 5 seconds. So if you didn't pay attention like me, you would miss it. But it does appear on later nights as well, and I was going to complain it doesn't appear on the night Aqua was introduced, but it seems like it does, it's just very badly colored. Also, I can see why every fan game with tips now asks for you to press something to make them go away. So we roll to night 4. The boss is happy, we are closing to the end of the week, and still questions workers for moving the animatronics. And they found yet another animatronic, Mayor McCheese. Once again, looks great, but mechanics wise, well, he's another Mac Tonight. As far as I'm aware, he can only come through the left entrance and also needs water to be sprayed on him. Man, Mayor is always done dirty in these games, always having a fairly irrelevant role. But what I wanted to mention now that I realized tonight is... the lack of voice acting. Yeah, unlike the last 3 games, no one speaks during our shift. For lore reasons, they are just too damaged to be able to speak, but it creates this... uneasiness? Before I could listen to them, I knew that they were around me, but now I truly feel alone and in danger, accompanied only by the sounds of water and boat creaking. Any disturbance like Max stepping or door opening or Hamburglar trying to get to me feels like a great disturbance, which is a really good feeling to have in a horror game. And we come to the last shift in heavy quotations. Boss is once again happy that renovations are ending soon and still questions workers if someone moved the animatronics and promises us a paycheck. Finally! But they also found the last character, Captain Crook. According to McDonald's lore, he was a pirate known for stealing filet-o-fish sandwiches. Huh. I never saw these in my McDonald's, they look quite nice actually. But in the game, he's another threat that you deal with water. Unlike the mayor, he has power to come to the right side of the office as well, but the front is still exclusive to Mac Tonight. And yeah, that is the entire cast. Pretty nice lineup, not gonna lie. Gameplay wise, they all blend pretty well, the only one who is a bit of a joke is Grimacy, but the rest of the cast creates the quite tense moments when you fly with your mouse and cross the screen, checking which side you came from and hurrying to activate right pipes. Although I have one complaint, they move quite slow. Even on night 5 everyone moved pretty slow, and while it did raise the tension when someone did appear, I expected more for night 5. Finishing the night we get a moon and night 6. On night 6 the boss finally realizes what is really happening on the barge with a pretty distressing phone call.
Dude, you need to get out of there. The animatronics, they're alive, man. I saw one of them moving. The pirate guy, Captain Crook. I saw him walking down a hallway, and when I followed him to investigate, I saw him kill one of my workers. Stabbed him right through the chest with that huge sword. Get off that boat, man. As soon as you can. I assume that if one of them is walking around, all of them can walk around. You're in serious danger. Get off that boat now. We're going to send the animatronics off somewhere to be completely destroyed. We don't want them hurting anyone else. We'll send you a big payout in the mail. Don't worry. Thank you for your help. Just get out of there. Please stay safe.
Well, it's not like anyone gets added tonight, but the speed at which they come to you is actually what I expected from last night, so there's that. But what if this night was against Captain? He could be another animatronic boss like Chris. He's made to be the threat with that call. I just think it would be cool, okay? Finishing the night we get another moon and extras. A bit generic to my taste, but still better than most fun games. And custom night with some challenges, beating max mode gives you Crimson Moon again. So where is that paycheck? And that was 5 Nights with Mac Tonight 3. While yes, this game is not canon to the official timeline of the series, I really don't think there are hardcore 5 Nights with Mac Tonight theorists that could be heard by a non-canon game. And what matters to me is gameplay, which I dare say was pretty good. While simple on paper, the act of defending yourself here has a nice feedback to it and feeds just the right amount of dopamine into me. And the atmosphere. Oh, the atmosphere is wonderful and so eerie. Many fungies can just wish to have this level of aura farming the environment that is here, and oh, it's just so good. But now we can finally move to the sequel remaster promised to oh wait, what month is it? Oh yeah, it's Spooky Month! Alright, obligatory syrup hello reference checked out. So yeah, for Halloween 2018, Mallrat prepared a little game for the spooky Halloween time based on Mac Tonight. Once again, it's a side game and the last game before the remaster of second game, I promise. So let's begin and check this out. Title screen is... well, it's definitely Halloween themed, it's all in shades of orange and Mac Tonight is once again Jack-o'-lantern, and he has few positions to go through, but I'm out of things to say, so let's move to night 1. We start our shift to Ring of Nokia phone as we hear our phone guy.
Hey dude, and welcome to McFright.
Okay, he's not even trying to put a different tone to his voice, it's just the game Salmon. We are welcomed to McFright, a Halloween attraction for McDonald's featuring forgotten McDonald characters, and it's our job to guard you to Halloween and work during Halloween to scare customers with attractions. As you can guess, it's a form of self-defense, more on that in a minute, because holy moly do I like this office. The big window in front of us leading to this hallway, the exit doors on our sides, and the lighting here is just chef's kiss. The only tool we have right now are cameras, and oh my god, are these Mac Tonight 1 style camera buttons? Man, it's nice to see them again, I really like them there and I like them here as well. There isn't much more to say about the location, it's McDonald's, but spooky. Orange, and every camera has this pumpkin for some reason. Tonight's enemy is Jack-o'-lantern. Good grief, he's naked! He starts on the entrance to the location and takes the most roundabout way to us. Seriously, he goes to this green section with mirrors and instead of going to us, he goes to the orange and blue as well. To be fair, the green room is a mirror room, so maybe he just keeps getting lost. But eventually he will reach the hallway and just stand there and aura farm for a bit before moving to either of the doorways. And after a bit he will peek through one of them, at which point you need to go to the cameras and find an attraction you can trigger. For our friends, yellow, red, orange and dark green parts have them, and that will send him away. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. He isn't hard to deal with and neither are other ones, if I'm gonna be honest. So let's move to night 2. On night 2 we are introduced to Mac Kruger again, but this time, since there are no vents around the location, he will have to do with staring at us. He randomly appears in front of our camera and if you stare at him for too long, he will kill you, literally never happened to me. On night 3 Fungi talks about flash photography being forbidden, which is fair enough, but also mentions seeing a shadow in our office that faded after using a flashlight, so he lets us use our camera that we apparently brought with us. So we are introduced to Shadow Ronald and once again, very simple. He will randomly fade into our office and after standing for a bit, he will kill you. To prevent him from doing so, you need to press the C key on your keyboard to use a camera flash. You have a limited battery, but it is more than enough as one flash is between 1 and 3%. But there's also one more guy coming, Grimace cosplaying as Candy Corn. Now I have no frame of reference what it tastes like. He's once again the annoying guy walking between rooms with attractions and disabling them. Not a problem tonight since we still only have Mac-O-Lantern as the guy who is distracted by them. Night 4 adds Grudgy, a birdie rare skin based on Grudge. You know, the girl with long hair that counts and kills you after a week of watching her tape? Or is it Sadako from Ring and Dead by Daylight? Both look pretty similar. She is the Grimace from Mac Tonight Remastered, basically. She sits in the red section of the camera called the cage corridor with bathroom cages, and from time to time she will open the gate and come out. Thanks to the fungi wiring her reset to the attraction, you need to activate that camera's attraction to reset her. Grimace cannot appear when she's in that room, as far as I'm aware, so he won't be an issue for you. If you fail to reset her in time, she will leave the camera, and after that you cannot reset her, and she will walk to the office and eventually kill you. But I am sure that if it's 5 AM you will be fine. There's also the other guy, Speedy, the original McDonald's mascot. He works like Mac, but starts in the dining room, so he has a shorter path, but he looks and works exactly like Lantern does. And finally, we reach night 5, with Mayor McCheese finally making his debut. And he's kinda useless once more. He starts in front of your window with this piano accompanying him, as he goes to the corner of the doors and then enters the office. To get rid of him, flash him. Once again, a bit wasted. And yeah, this is everyone and the whole game, to be honest. After this night you have your night 6 and custom night, but you don't get any more lore for doing them, outside of these pumpkins on the side of the screen. I say everyone in this game is pretty balanced, but god did they move so slow. Not even night 5 or 6 did they move very fast. Only custom night really challenged me, and I actually gave up on max mode because I was just bored of it, and it was like 1 AM when I was playing it, so I wasn't helping myself. As a small game that was released on Halloween, I think it's more than enough for a Mac Tonight fan at that time, but as a game it's a bit lacking. Not saying it's bad, but it's just a bit mediocre. And finally, we can move to the second remaster. Five Nights with Mac Tonight 2 Remastered released on November 2nd, 2018, so 2 whole days after the Halloween edition came out. And maybe I will just get it out of the way, this is a great game. It surpasses the original version easily, and dare I say it, the first remaster. I mean, even the title screen is the perfect amount of eerie. Everything is so cold, so corporate, so perfect for a warehouse. Starting the game, we are immediately thrown into night 1. No newspaper again. We are thrown into our office and Fungi, who immediately states that we are Chris.
Evening, Chris. Welcome to your first night on the job at the finest warehouse in town. Well, I wouldn't say the finest, but it's definitely better than some other storage facilities. Gotta deal with rats, cockroaches, things like that. Pretty stuff. Anyways, thanks again for taking this job.
Well, the cat is out of the bag because of cutscenes from the last game, so not sure why I included it again. I mean, we know why Chris is here, but the Fungi is just happy that we took this position since no one else would. He once again explains that there are vandals around here, and this time instead of an alarm, we have doors with electric locks to lock ourselves in case someone arrives.
You most likely don't have a lot of things you can defend yourself with in there in case a vandal comes into your office with a gun raised or something. That's why we've got these neat little things called security locks.
Not sure if it helps if they have firearm, but I guess it's okay. And of course, the warehouse holds animatronics from a McDonald's that recently bought them, and we are supposed to guard them. So going back to the office, yeah, it's pretty perfect. Very little distractions, this is very sterile looking place. We have 2 Macintoshes, which have camera systems for the warehouse and the vents on left and right respectively. And thank god the cameras have numbers on them, so I can actually call them by name. However, there is one issue. No one is active tonight. Yeah, figures, we just got here, Chris didn't have any time to damage the animatronics, and well, it isn't my favorite job of FNAF, but it isn't the worst one. We need to wait up till 6 AM comes in, so I can talk about gameplay some more. And our menu seems to have changed to accommodate some guests. On night 2, instead of getting told that animatronics are damaged, the Fungi talks about the recent murder of manager at local McDonald's, the one that ordered animatronics, and by extension our murder from night 3 in 1 Remastered.
So, not sure if you saw the news earlier today or not. You know the McDonald's that ordered these animatronics? The manager there was found dead in his office. It It was a nasty sight. His throat was slit and there were stab wounds all over him. What a mess. What's even worse is that the killer is nowhere to be found. The police couldn't find any fingerprints in the manager's body, and the murder weapon was nowhere to be found either. Man, that definitely makes me not want to go back to that McDonald's. It's a shame, too. The McNuggets were so good.
So tonight, two threats activate, tampered Mac Tonight and tampered Hamburglar. Mac Tonight looks better than in original, now I can say that he was actually damaged. He starts on cam 9 and after leaving the box, he goes through the warehouse to cam 4. If he's on the left side of the camera and covered in shadows, he will come through the left door, and from the same camera you can lock that door. It will cost power to drain, however, and he takes around 10% before he leaves. But if he's more so in the middle of the camera, he will then move to cam 2 and attack from there. And once again, you need to lock the doors, which I did not figure out in time. Gotta say, if a fun game manages to kill me on first 3 nights, I call it impressive. And the other guy is Hamburglar. He starts on cam 3 and after coming out from his box, he goes to cam 11 and then up the stairs into the vents. Once again, he makes a loud bang to notify you he's in them, and as such you need to boot up the other computer, find him on one of 4 vent cameras and lock him out. However, unlike the original, keeping the vent shut for too long causes it to overheat and become disabled for a bit, which means you actually need to be kinda careful here. So hey, the game just started and it's already way more engaging than the previous version. So, night 3. Tonight we get called again, and this time our boss notices that the animatronics were tampered with and asks if we saw anyone tamper with them, and I mean, we know who's doing it, don't we? But more interesting is the fact that there was progress on the murder case with the manager, and apparently the killer was a former employee. Whether it means anything for us. But also, 2 more animatronics were shipped in, and tonight only one of them is active, Birdie, or tampered Birdie I guess. She works exactly like Hamburglar does, going to vents and requiring to be locked out. And she starts on cam 9, going to 11 and into the vents. But I can positively say that this game actually poses a challenge. Mac moves pretty fast already and attacks me multiple times, and while vent guys are a bit slow, they do cause tension when you hear that bang, while you already anticipate Mac's visit. After finishing the shift, we get the remastered version of cutscene from the original. We are inside the head of Mac Tonight listening to worker talk about stopping animatronics before we get continuation. Night 6 from Remastered.
Okay. Let's see. Whoa! What the?
Oh, so he did get killed. I also found a wallet apparently, and got some coins. Yeah, this game has a small shop where you can buy some props for your office. I only got 500 from the wallet, so I bought these sunglasses and some posters. Night 4 phone call is definitely more urgent, as he found Birdie was damaged and is pleading us to report anything. But while the call was going on, I got curious about the poster I bought and got my eardrums blown out.
Messes with anything! Look, I'm sorry about...
Ouch, why do we suddenly introduce ear rape? Other than that, boss hopes that the police investigation will give results before hanging up. So tonight the second of the newly delivered animatronics activate, tampered Mayor McCheese. Once again, he's pretty easy to deal with, going to your office from cam 7 to 4 before having to close your door. His path is just as long as Max is, but he doesn't attack as often as he does for some reason. But since everyone in this game is several faster, I dare call him an actual threat. And may as well mention voice acting because it definitely improved since the one remastered. Every animatronic this time is voiced and they sound great. Mac Tonight got his wrist back.
The clock has struck.
And others sound pretty good too.
Rabble, rabble. I'm soaring high in the clouds.
Now this is a fun little game.
And if you get tired of those voices, for the first time ever and only time ever, you can disable them. Hallelujah to Malrad for doing this. At the end of the shift we get some more remastered cutscenes, but this time I finally get to hear what the hell is happening. So the Reynolds corpse we see in the remaster and presumably original version is a worker that tried to do something to animatronics, maybe turn them off or something, but while trying to do it Mac Tonight woke up and attacked him. Then for reasons not explained, his soul possesses Mac Tonight animatronic, and when he wakes up, the first thing he sees is his corpse. There's also Shadow Reynolds for some reason, I don't get his deal. But after hearing our Night 1 phone call, he decides to go kill Chris, who of course is not here, he's just a phone guy, so I guess it's meant to explain why Mac Tonight attacked us in the first game. Doesn't really explain why others attacked us, But if Mallrat's Mac Tonight story post is to be correct, it's because of tampering in this game that causes them to be aggressive. And how does a corpse walk without a soul? Good question. So we arrive at night 5 and the boss is losing hope on us. He keeps finding more and more broken animatronics, this time Mayor, and just hopes that we are just tad bad at our job. And so last thread rolls here. Tampered Grimace. He works similar to his Mac 2 counterpart, but he first starts on cam 11 before covering one of the cameras. To get rid of him you need to switch off camera, otherwise he will disable both vent and warehouse cameras, leaving you defenseless for a bit. Well, at least he's not as persistent as in the original game. But tonight I also realized a pretty big issue with this game. It doesn't have camera images for multiple animatronics. Okay, what I mean by this is that cameras that feature multiple characters going through it, like Cam 1, have images for each character standing there separately, but never together, and it makes tracking characters, especially Mac Tonight, a pain in the ass. Mac Tonight is very aggressive in this game, and he's the only character that managed to ever kill me because he kept slipping under my radar because someone's image overlapped Mac's image, making him a Mac ninja slipping past my attention and into my office. Oh, and also only tonight did I realize you can skip phone calls with Enter. I forgot to mention this, but through the last 2 games you also like the traditional mute buttons, but it turns out maybe I just had to press Enter? Too bad there is literally no information about this in the games. And after the shift we get a remove... Oh wait, it's actually star this time. Okay, so we get a star and night 6 unlocked. On night 6, boss finally realizes what we are doing and kicks us out of the facility. No one else gets added, but everyone moves pretty fast. Once again, Slippery Moon got past me a few times. Okay, so finishing night 6, we get another star and extras unlocked. Classics are here, characters, comparisons, cheats, Mac cards. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Mac cards. Mac cards, and they appeared in every single extras menu, but they simply allow you to replay specific night 1 to 5 without having to replay the game. And of course we have a custom Oh, I don't remember you. So yeah, we have a custom night exclusive character Speedy. He is yet another door thread, although he works a bit differently. Instead of going straight to the door, he first goes to cam 1 and then to your office's window. I was wondering when someone will use it actually. He will stare at you for a bit before leaving to cam 2, and at which point you need to close the door. That's not that enough chaos in my opinion, but he's not a bad enemy by a large margin. Mag is still the most dangerous though. For finishing max mode I got red star. Okay, I really wasted my time doing these the past few games, didn't I? But hey, this was 5 nights with Mac Tonight Remastered. It's yet another great fun game to play, and I think you can guess that its leaks better than the original version ever was, and thank god they did change things up, because gameplay here is smooth as butter. The only glaring issue I can think of are the camera images, but outside of that, we have a really good game here. Graphics are great, mechanics are... okay, they are alright. Story is actually pretty interesting to follow, and yeah, I just like this game. But now we are reaching the climax. Only one Mac Tonight game remains. So, the last Mac Tonight game is an anniversary game meant to cap off the series. Mac Tonight 2nd Anniversary. It released on April 27th, 2018. From what I can tell, this game wasn't complete on release, mind you. Game was finished in quotation marks, but over the course of 5 updates the game received more characters and an ending. Last update 6.0, releasing on July 30. Man, even fun games can't escape being released unfinished. And there was supposed to be one more big remaster update that would drastically change the game, but it was cancelled and Malrat already made a post describing what it would be. So I will be covering that 6.0 version that is currently available. Game starts with a pretty long opening that you can skip with enter thankfully. Now you're not taught that you can do that, but the menu is quite good actually. It replicates the Mac Tonight's 1 menu while also improving it. We have the VHS effect, but instead of black void there is an actual background, new Mac model, new buttons, and yeah, this is basically an upgrade, not much else to do than to start the new game. We begin our shift and are forced to sit through Chris's night 1 phone call, still voiced by 39.
Good evening. Judging by how you are right now, listening to this voice recording message, you must be the night guard.
And after the call ends, we hear our guard talk about how shitty and too easy this job is gonna be and decides to check cameras.
Yeah, whatever man. Like anything's gonna happen here anyways, let's be entirely honest. Seriously, I'm just technically getting paid for sitting here for 6 hours straight with nothing else to do. Well, I guess abuse the free access drink system they have, but that's really about it. It's gonna be any more easy, right? Well, might as well check the cameras, considering there isn't much else to do.
And oh boy, these cameras just had to use the worst camera system FNAF fan games have ever seen. So instead of having a minimap to show you where the camera is in relation to you, it just has this list. Good luck figuring out where you are on it. After a bit you hear a sound of someone walking, and checking the cameras you see that Mac Tonight moved and you watch him slowly get closer to you. I checked both stage and kitchen if there was a distraction in them, but nope, there are none. So by the time he gets to our office, he jump scares us, but our guard says nah, and runs away to the bathroom. And this is where the real gameplay of this night begins. You need to survive 3 more hours before night is over, and to do this we are going to use the toilet. So you click on the water in the bowl to grab it in your hands. Then you can look at the south door and check if Mac Tonight is at the door. He has 3 phases, and on the third one you need to splash water on him. To refill it, just pull the handle. However, refilling the water speeds up the moon guy, so by the end of the night you are basically doing this. A bit repetitive, but not that bad of a minigame. After reaching 6 AM, I apparently unlocked classic mode. Oh, so yeah, all this time, this game was secretly the ultimate Mac Tonight night, if you call 7 characters ultimate. So we started with only Mac Tonight, with each night finished on maximum difficulty, unlocking more and more characters. Guess it's time to explain classic mode. So we started with Mac Tonight. He is similar yet different compared to his original appearance. If he's at the door, you use speakers on his show stage to deter him, and if he comes to the window, you use this cold spray to put white frost on your windows and make him go away. Also, he is the only character that doesn't talk during the gameplay, and he is pretty dangerous later on. Next is Hamburglar. He looks pretty good. He goes to the vent, and when you hear the vent bang, you overheat it. Next is Ronald, pretty good redesign, pretty creepy actually with his jaw. If he's at the door, you use the speaker. After that we have the Grimace. From time to time he will disappear from his corner and move to the stage, causing the speakers to not work. To get him back, use overheating. He can also get very close to the corner camera, and with it, overheating won't work, so use the speakers to reset him. Captain Crook, what are you doing here? This is Mac Tonight 3. Either way, he will go to the outside camera and from there to your window. You can't see him at the window, however, he will announce his presence by a parrot. Put the frost on the window when you hear the parrot and keep it on you until you hear parrot again. And then there's Speedy. The mother Speedy. So, he goes to the office entrance, cam 4, and he will hold up his sign up for you to enter the code in the command window. Expect he is bugged. For some reason, every time I entered the code, it wouldn't work. I tried to do this for a good half an hour and finally cracked and checked the comment section of the game, and thank God there was a solution so weird that I don't think I have ever heard such a thing happen. Hello everybody, to anyone wanting to complete the game, you cannot, because of Speedy not working, make your screen 16,000 by 900, not above nor under. It fixes him while having a full screen. And guess what? It worked! For some reason, I am not aware how Speedy's command prompt doesn't work on higher resolutions or lower as comment suggests. What the hell? How do you tie a game mechanic to a screen resolution? I heard of games that break when you add more FPS to them, but this is the first time I heard about a game being unbeatable because of screen resolution. And you know what I just realized while editing this video? You can't even see it. It doesn't show up on recording. Was this game made with hopes and prayers, because everything here seems to be held with duct tape? And before I move to the last guy, who you know who, I'm gonna mention that adding more and more characters extends the night length. With Mac Tonight, one in-game hour lasts 25 seconds, with each subsequent addition giving plus 10 seconds, so 35, 45, and so far and so on, until night lasts a minute and 25 seconds with everyone active. This is a nice quality of life at the start, because you don't have to wait too long for new guys to join in, but by the end it becomes a bit of a slog, lasting almost 10 minutes, so And lastly, we have Chris. And yeah, he's the jack of all trades. If he's at the door, use the speaker. He's at the vent, use overheat. If you hear him knocking on the window, freeze it until he leaves. I mean, I really wanted to say more about this game, but outside of Speedy, this is the third damn time we got the same game as the first one with minimal changes to make them distinct from one another. Fourth, if you count that Halloween edition I mentioned at the end of Mac Tonight 1 section. And I wanted to talk more about character designs, but like, they look good, but are very boring outside of Mac, Ronald and Chris if you ask me. And that's because Mac Tonight looks more like a real animatronics, which honestly detracts from his design. He doesn't look quite as cool anymore, or he just looks plain now. Going back to Ronald, he looks definitely more like a corpse alongside Chris, which both of them do look great, but like, everyone else looks very similar to their last appearance and everything is basked in this dull, cold darkness. Maybe it was meant to add atmosphere, but it really just makes everything and everyone blend in together, and at this point I'm just bored by this gameplay loop. It is enjoyable, but it is too much of a good thing. Mechanics are pretty good, but damn it, they are not really innovated outside of Grimace. I really want to have more good things to say about this game, but it really doesn't seem like there is anything more to this game. It was just a small game to top off the series, and it's not a really good one at that. I mean, we are at the finish line, so let's finish this. After finishing the max mode with every single character unlocked, we get a semi-playable cutscene. You appear in this dark hallway and need to walk to the door. Game will flash a hospital bed to tell us that we are Chris. We get to the door and find out it's a gas room. Turn on the valve, damage it, and fire up that lighter before the credits roll. For those unaware, this was meant to be the ending to the story, where after the events of Mac Tonight 1, animatronics get taken to the factory with Chris. And in the factory, Chris goes to the pipe room and destroys it because he has nothing else to live for. And yep, the series is over. There's nothing more. The latest game has released in 2019 and I didn't even get a star on menu for doing this. Cool. So, this was Mac Tonight's second anniversary and the series as a whole. About the second anniversary, I feel like a lot of my criticism, minus Speedy, really comes down to playing all the games in a span of a week, but man, did I just not enjoy my time with this one. Graphics were fine, gameplay was fine, atmosphere was dull. And once again, it was reused for the third damn time. This game doesn't feel like it deserves to be worthy of second anniversary in the title or be the title the series ends on. I kind of struggle to recommend this to anyone. This isn't a really good game. Now that we capped off the last game, what do I think about the series as a whole? It was pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, 3 entries I wouldn't consider good FNAF fan games, but the other 4 easily make up for those lost causes. Yeah, gameplay wasn't the pinnacle of FNAF gameplay, the story was pretty generic and it may not have become a big name series in the community, but hey, sometimes you don't have to be the best. Just being the hidden gem is enough for me to justify your existence, and man, is this a nice little gem of the series. So how about a quick ranking? I don't know, I just feel bored. At the bottom, original Mac Tonight 2. Do not argue because you will be wrong. It is Candy's 2 of the series with how exploitable gameplay is. Game is though all around it, the gameplay puts you to sleep and is not enjoyable at all. Next we have original Mac Tonight 1. I kinda debated between this and the next entry, but I think I like this one less. Gameplay works, unlike the sequel, but with a big elephant in the room being RNG that is really finicky and really doesn't want you to complete this game. And while I am not a game designer, I think I played enough fun games to know that using RNG to make gameplay harder is not a good way to make your gameplay harder. It's just annoying. Next we have second anniversary. I feel like some of you just raised pitchforks because that means Halloween edition is higher, but I really didn't enjoy my time with this one. More than the last 2, but not by much. There is a limit to how many times you can sing the same song and dance before it becomes repetitive. It really added nothing to the series and has a rather meh gameplay and was a bad note to end the series on. Oh, but don't you think I'm placing Halloween edition any higher? It is a fine game to play before Halloween and was a nice gift at the time, but while the mechanics are better than in second anniversary, they are still pretty boring. Bonus points to actually having a good atmosphere though. The third on the podium is Mac Tonight 3. Yeah, I don't think it's quite the pinnacle of game design with really only having 2 mechanics, but I enjoyed its atmosphere a lot. But the atmosphere can only carry you so far when gameplay just isn't all that interesting, compelling. Second place, Mac Tonight Remastered. Great game all around. Good gameplay loop, good mechanics, mediocre story, all essentials for a B-tier FNAF fun game. And last is Mac Tonight 2 Remastered. I feel like most of you would place it the place Mac Tonight 1 Remastered has, and I don't blame you. I also think these two are fairly interchangeable, but I personally prefer the sequel. Gameplay is great, graphics are great, story is still okay, but it is a great improvement over the last game, even if it has one glaring issue being those camera edges. Okay, so now that I am done with all these games from the series, I'll head to KFC. What can I say? They have better milkshakes and chicken burgers there. Of course they are better. Wait, are there any KFC FNAF fun games?